Hi, I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach, and this is the Organize Your Life podcast. I am passionate about organizing because it makes my clients' lives so much easier, more relaxed, and with more time to spend the way that they want to. In every podcast, I will talk about an organizing, decluttering, or time management concept. I'll tell you why it's important. I'll also include an action step at the end so you can start practicing right away. My specialty is chunking down these big topics so they aren't overwhelming. That's the concept for the podcast, too. I'm now done with the material from my first book, 52 Simple Ways to Get Organized. You can buy my books on my website or on Amazon. You can also view the podcast show notes on my blog. I do this podcast to connect with people, and that means you. Let me know that you're listening. Shoot me an email at claire@cluttercoach.net. I would really love to hear from you. Okay, here we go. This is podcast 96, and it's about being a questioner as one of the 4 tendencies. If you've been listening to me for a while, you know I love to ask questions. I love to ask what I call stupid questions, the ones that people don't ask because they take the answer for granted, and it doesn't occur to them that they can question something. I've always been this way. When I was a kid, my dad gave me a book called Can Elephants Swim?, which answered lots of the questions that he couldn't respond to. I'll tell you, whenever I hear somebody say, well, we've always done it that way, it drives me nuts. Why, I want to ask. This is why I run my own business, and it's a business where questioning is extremely useful and important. I am not a very good employee, also for this reason. When rules don't make sense to me, I just don't obey them. But I am good at following rules if they're explained to me and make sense. However, in so many jobs, rules come down from the top and nobody can explain them. And on top of that, there's all the wasted time and energy devoted to following such silly rules. Okay, enough ranting. I'm exploring this because I'm taking the 4 Tendencies course with Gretchen Rubin, based on her book. The other tendencies are the upholder, the obliger, and the rebel. These groups are different in their approach to expectations. In a nutshell, the upholder honors internal and external commitments. Questioners tend to honor mostly internal commitments. Obligers give preference to external commitments. And rebels, as you may have guessed, don't honor any commitments. Like knowing your Enneagram number or even your zodiac sign, learning about your tendency can help you identify what techniques will work best for you to be more organized, manage time better, etc. If you're a questioner, as I am, you'll do a lot of research before selecting a method to try. You'll want to know why it is the way it is, how those decisions came to be made. And if you adopt it, you'll probably end up customizing it to suit you better, improving it because you know best, and tossing out the bad stuff because it's obviously stupid and unnecessary. I haven't gotten to the part of the course yet where I find to get details about the other 3 tendencies. But in general, upholders can easily come to congruence with internal and external expectations. They fulfill commitments to themselves, and they have no problem doing what others want as well. Obligers tend to forsake their own personal commitments in favor of helping others or going along with the program. But if they're asked to do too much, apparently they can snap and make dramatic changes in their lives, not necessarily productive ones. Rebels don't much like to be accountable and highly value their freedom, even if it means procrastination and lack of productivity that does not serve them. I'll do another episode later on this once I get through the course. But now you can start thinking about whether you are more likely to keep commitments to yourself or to others. If you think you're an obliger, you'd probably do better with an off-the-shelf solution, something that's been created and offered as a complete solution, or with a coach or teacher who will lay out a program for you to follow. An upholder would also do well with a pre-designed packaged solution, although upholders are inclined to want to take on too much and possibly burn out. They often want to cross every T and dot every I, just because the instructions say so. A questioner does best with a system of components that can be added to or subtracted from as he or she sees fit. Questioners pay attention to how well something is working for them and looks for ways to improve or replace it. Rebels, like questioners, want things their way, but they need to be careful not to reject ideas just because someone else or some book or some program suggests them. They do better if they can focus on the benefit they'll get, rather than on who suggested it. Here's an example of the 4 tendencies regarding the to-do list. An upholder cannot wait to get to her to-do list and start doing the tasks. A questioner reviews his list often to make sure everything on there is there for a good reason. An obliger may get through her to-do list, but discover that everything she did was according to someone else's priorities. A rebel says, I don't need any stinking to-do list. So what you can do right now, remember that not every organizing method works for everyone. The more you know about yourself, the easier it is to find solutions that do work for you. So put yourself into those to-do list descriptions and see which feels most like you. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach. If you like the show, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review in iTunes. You can subscribe, too, so the podcast will be ready and waiting for you to listen to. You'll find the show notes on my blog at www.cluttercoach.net, and you can check out my store to find books I've written and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you're a fan of the show, you can become a patron on patreon.com for as little as $1 a month. You can find my page by going to the Patreon website, that's Patreon, and searching on Clutter Coach. I'll still post the podcast free of charge, but I've got some cool rewards for folks who want to help me make the show even better. Come back next week for a new podcast.